This is Off the Break Podcast, presented by Silver Screen Insider.
It's time. Off the Break Podcast, your podcast dedicated to current movie theater news, operations, and insights from the people that book the movies. I'm Cody, signing off on my last podcast for 2020. With me are Kyle and Ken.
Hello, everyone.
It's finally over.
The year is finally over. We're literally on the last day of 2020 in our new podcast studio, not yet completed, but just glad this year is almost over.
Yeah, we haven't got any of the mirrored tabletops or the disco ball in yet, but we're getting close.
Strobe lights for visual effects are not in yet, but that's okay.
There's going to be so many neon lights.
Oh, and we need
and
the
they're going to
DJ.
flash everywhere.
We need the DJ booth, guys.
The DJ booth, who's also the co-host.
Yeah. He'll chime in every once in a while with a movie review.
Yeah. It's all going to come together. You guys
Yeah.
will be amazed by how this podcast is going to turn out.
Yeah.
He'll have the buttons to hit the air horns.
Instead of me doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, please, Cody, don't do that anymore. That can be your New Year's resolution.
I'm the air horn guy.
You are.
I'm the air horn guy.
Kyle. You got it. Sorry.
Oh, well, I was just going over the numbers for 2020. This is the
What numbers?
lowest domestic grossing year for films since 1981, unadjusted.
Wow.
Adjusted, it's the lowest grossing year for films ever.
Yeah.
Gee, I couldn't possibly think of why.
Weird. It's hard to gross movies when you
just
gross
incredible
films when you don't
though.
have any
I mean,
movies.
it's just wild though to think that
Yeah.
that
We're
would
living
ever
in
be,
this time.
It's nuts.
In our whole lives and our parents' lives, this has never happened to this industry.
Back when gas was 68 cents a gallon.
I remember
The good old days.
I remember when it was like $1 a gallon, and I was like, "Oh my gosh,
That's so expensive.
so crazy,
So crazy.
so crazy." $1.50. Then when it went over $2, I was like, "This is insanity. What am I paying
Tell
for?
me about
it's the
it."
same gas."
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, cost me $5 extra to fill up this tank.
Old man yelling
Stealing,
at clouds.
stealing.
Yeah, I mean, I just keep seeing all the headlines of being like, this was the lowest, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, yeah. COVID, like, it makes sense.
Back when I could get 5 peppermint sticks for a nickel. Old man Cody over there.
Showing our ages.
This year.
Back
has
before they
made
had
me
seatbelts in
bitter.
cars. They were so much more fun.
No, this year has made me a bitter old man. I think everybody's a bitter old man after this year. It's not
I don't
just me.
blame everyone. I get it. It was the worst. It was literally the worst year.
The worst year. And for our family, it started very much before the pandemic. In the 5th day of January of 2020, we had an accident happen to a member of our family, Ken. And I think it set the tone for the whole year.
Way to
for
go,
us.
Ken.
Yeah. And then Eric left and screwed up the movie industry.
And then Eric left, and then we went into COVID. I mean, it was just...
It really was like only a week later or something. It felt like that.
It was.
Like as soon as he left, everything just crumbled.
His last day was Valentine's Day, and then within a month, everything was just gone. I blame Eric now.
I think we all do.
Yeah.
He's not on here anymore. We can just say that. You hear that, Eric?
Yeah.
But we miss you a lot.
We do. You can come back. It's
You can
fine.
come back.
But you would have to be a fourth now. We can't. You're not replacing Ken.
Oh, no, you could definitely come back. I could just take a nap in my office while we do this. While you guys get excited, and I could just come in and just have a hot take and leave.
He will be the DJ.
Yeah, you can be the DJ.
DJ Eric. On the road again.
That's what the kids listen to, right?
So yeah, it has been, looking back on 2020, I mean, man, it was such a blur of just uncertainty and stress and anxiety, and then
poop flying from the sky.
Yeah.
And yet a painful slog at the same time. Like
Yeah.
somehow it was so slow.
I know, you were just stuck in that limbo for so long of
Oh, yeah.
what's going to happen next. What are they going to move? What are they going to not
So
not
many
have on the
Harry
release
Potter
schedule?
bookings.
Oh my gosh. And then the deluge of bookings, Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and Back to the Futures, Jurassic Parks. like 500 Jurassic Park bookings later. I think I'm all booked up on that.
I mean, only a few months ago when we saw that Jurassic Park was working, we were like, hooray, keep playing it, it's working. And then 2 months later, you're like, I'm over this.
The roller coaster of emotions where you're just so excited for like a $300 gross was just, oh my gosh, we're going to make it. No, you're never going to make it on that.
No, just the excitement we had to start the year. 1917 and Just Mercy were good openings, and then we had Bad Boys.
I was gonna say, remember Bad Boys for Life?
And then we were like, whoa, we can get
the
a good
number one
title
movie of 2020 is Bad Boys for Life.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine if somebody called that at the beginning of the year, what the bet would have been on January 1st?
No.
I think, Ken, you did call that. You're like, this is the greatest movie.
I may have called that. But we had Fast and Furious, we had Jurassic World 3.
We had James Bond.
So many Marvel movies.
Probably a whole ton of Marvel movies.
We had Marvel.
And Martin Lawrence takes it home.
Yeah.
Like he always does.
Yeah.
Oh. And we had Sonic. I mean, we were starting to build that early part of the year was building.
I completely forgot about Sonic.
Onward was there, ready to start the process of the summer movies that first weekend of March.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just going to, I mean, for what 2020 was supposed to be, it was going to be a down year regardless.
But we were building.
It was building, and grosses were great
steady,
across the board comparatively to what we had. I mean, we had Dumbo the year before that was a bomb for everywhere, but we had Onward in its place.
Right.
And then we had Mulan, and then, what happened?
What happened? The what ifs.
All because of those delicious, delicious bats.
Yeah. I know. The rats of the sky.
That is what they are most known as.
They're called filet mignon of the sky, Cody.
Okay, apparently.
Because they're so
I
delicious.
didn't know. Oh, so yeah, here we are. It's been kind of a crazy year. We tried to keep up with it all, podcasting through quarantining with our masks in our little bubbles, working from home. Everybody was going through the same stuff, but it was just trying to maintain some normalcy through it all. Was
trying not to drink before lunch.
I mean,
we gave up on that a long time ago.
At least the podcast was like the most normal thing that we had throughout the week, and it was also our most therapeutic. I'm sure people have heard us, at like our happiest points and like at our most depressed points.
I'm sure they could have heard the brain fog in all of us. Like, what do we talk about? What do we wrap our minds around this?
Mm-hmm. Maybe Kyle and I brought our A game. It was mostly you.
Every week.
Yeah, well, I was doing like 1,000 bookings
of Jurassic Parks.
Yeah. My brain was just
that's
being
why
fried.
That's why there was that stretch of couple of episodes where all she was saying was Jurassic Park, no matter what it was, a question or an answer or a statement.
Thank God.
Fine.
Yeah. Jurassic Park, Jurassic Park, Jurassic Park, Jurassic Park.
Oh gosh, it was like that. So bad. Goonies.
Jurassic Park. Goonies.
Yep.
Slipping a little Goonies.
Goonies was our number one. It across the board did the best
for classic films.
For classic films in the pandemic, apparently Goonies was it for everybody.
Yeah, and whoever bet on that is now a millionaire.
Yeah, I wish I had some Goonies stock or something.
Yeah, because that's a thing. Well, probably it is now, but out there somewhere.
So yeah, just thinking back on our year, and I'm glad we're finally here at the end for it, and I'm really looking forward to next year. There's some good stuff coming next year.
Yeah,
that we'll get into.
Seems like there's a light shining now.
Yeah, it's a little bit out of order, but the best news we got was on Sunday night this last week.
Right. President Trump signed the spending COVID relief bill, but it included the Save Our Screens / Stages Act. And
bringing her A game.
Yeah, guys, it's been a long
Goonies.
year. Yeah. Lately, I'm like Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
What else is there? Wonder Woman. And anyways, it passed. It got signed. So that legislation enables movie theater owners and operators to get some COVID relief grant money, not loan money, grant money, which is a big difference. To help offset expenses from the pandemic. So, and could be a lot of money. You can use up to 85% 85% of your expenses can be put towards this grant money. So they just need to prove that you had a 90% sustained loss to, I think, anything over 25, but the 90%ers, which is most everybody who lost that much revenue, gets to apply first. So
Yeah, this is great news. Kyle, hit the air horn.
you know what's even better about this news, guys? It is for just independent theaters. You can't have a circuit more than, I think, 10 theaters or something. You can't be in multiple states. You can't be international. This legislation was for the mom and pop, the homegrown, the local theater. It was not for Regal, Cinemark, or AMC. This is for you guys out there. So I was pins and needles waiting for that legislation to get signed. I was like, please, please, please.
No kidding. I mean, we probably would have hoped that this could have happened months ago, but at least it's here. This can be a good thing.
It's here, and I really, truly think that this will save quite a few theaters, because there was no way they were going to make it in the next quarter, given what product is coming out in the next 2 months.
Yeah.
After having already endured what they endured, they wouldn't have made it. You couldn't have made any money in January or February with the product that's out there right now. You got a bump at Christmas, and that was it.
Yeah, the information's on the website too, and we'll keep updating with where to go. And
NATO has been really great and diligent with offering up slides and information on it, and we'll try to pass along as much of that as we can to everybody. So definitely check out the website for updates on that. But you're going to want to stay up to date, because I think they're going to start opening up the application process here soon. And I think it's through the SBA, Small Business Administration. I think is where you are going to have to apply for this. So
good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, we'll keep everybody updated on the logistics of that and the specifics. I think it's a little early to tell exactly what is in that, but we'll go over it.
A little bit of
in
cheese.
2021.
A little bit of cheese for your turd sandwich.
Yeah. At the very end of the year.
Yeah, a nice aioli to put on top.
Yes. So relief is coming, everybody. We will make it through.
Whew, thank goodness. She has made a sound effect, folks. Crossing off our to-do list for this.
I've never seen anybody cross anything off in longer form.
I know.
It's a giant pink wiggle line.
Yep.
We're about to have cameras soon, so that way people can see this.
I will have to be much more careful now.
Yeah, I've done one of the 10,000 required setups to getting on camera, so that's great.
Right. We are. That's, again, coming in 2021.
Our workout videos.
Off the Break Podcast live workout videos.
Yeah,
what everyone has been hoping for.
Yeah.
Kyle put on his leg warmers and we'll be ready to go.
Oh, yeah. You know I pull those off.
You need them here. It's cold.
Well, yeah. That's why I made sure I can pull them off.
So, getting back into the podcast, we do have some upcoming release changes, just to make everyone aware of. Judas and the Black Messiah moved to February 12th, 2021.
It didn't have a release date. Like Warner Bros. Was
it went on schedule.
Promoting it, but they haven't made any clear indication about when it's going to be released until like a week ago. So it's probably not going to be a title that can be played very wide.
No, I think that's going to be extremely limited.
Yeah.
It will definitely be one of the Warner Brothers titles that goes day and date with streaming.
It will be. Yeah. It's going to be on HBO Max on the same day.
And then Universal moved Boss Baby Family Business, the sequel to The Boss Baby, from March of 2021 to September 17th. So I was kind of disappointed. I think we really need a good kids movie earlier in the year, but with the way
Tom and Jerry and Raya are starting to clog up the beginning of March, and so that could steal a little bit of their thunder, but
September won't be bad. I feel like
September's a good spot for it.
This next September will be pretty strong.
As much as it pains me to admit it, I feel like Boss Baby would be more playable than Tom and Jerry.
I think it's way more playable than Tom and Jerry.
So I'm a little surprised that they were nervous by... I guess Raya makes more sense, but Tom and Jerry, I feel like that's going to be more of an HBO Max title than a theater title.
I feel like Universal moved this after the Disney announced Raya going day and date was streaming in
Yeah.
theaters. So now that they know it'll be in theaters, they maybe moved away.
I think they know it's a cash cow too.
Yeah.
So they're just biding their time.
Sure.
It's done. It could play next week, but they're, putting it in September means that it can play anytime this summer if there is an opening.
And then the Universal also moved The Bad Guys. They took it off the release schedule out of that September 17th date, and there's no new date.
What a thoughtful title.
I believe
The
that's
Bad Guys.
I think that's a DreamWorks animated movie. If I remember seeing the synopsis for it on SilverScreenInsider.com. So I don't know what they're gonna do with it yet. So they're just replacing Boss Baby with whatever Bad Guys would have been.
Yeah, I think next year we're still gonna see a lot of movement on the release schedule.
Oh,
Nothing definitely is set in stone, and there'll be a lot of shifting there.
It's definitely not. It's not stopping because they know they have the power to do this now and make these big changes.
Yeah.
That they can pull something a week or 2 weeks ahead of time if the environment's not right. So we're going to see that more and more than we ever have, seeing as how we had never seen it before.
Right. We're getting used to it.
New normal. Here we go.
Then the big news, Christmas weekend, we got 3 new titles. We got Wonder Woman, 1984. Kyle?
Sorry, I don't.
Exciting. News
Yes.
of the world. And Promising Young Women. And it was awesome. It was awesome to see such good grosses.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Wonder Woman really sucked the juice out of everything, though.
Mm-hmm.
I think
it was a
News-
ticket sink. It
Yeah.
took everything
It did.
down
It
farther
really
than what it would have done.
it really sucked the market. I think News of the World did get good reviews, and
They all got reasonable reviews.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything like, oh my God, I
But
can't
I-
believe they put this out.
but I think News of the World got
Shocking.
got good word of mouth afterwards. A lot of people just didn't realize that Tom Hanks had a Western at Christmas. I don't think Universal advertised it enough or extensively, and so there's been some good word of mouth on it. Nobody was disappointed by it, so I can see that one kind of staying in there a little longer, maybe hopefully having some legs.
Yeah.
So Kyle was out of town for Christmas and got to actually see Wonder Woman.
I did.
Does
There
that
was a
make-
theater open
Does that make 2 films you saw in 2020
during the
in,
pandemic.
in a theater? Yeah,
Let's see, Tenet and Unhinged. So 3.
you saw 3 films. Okay.
Yes.
Whew, Kyle, I think
Show
you
off.
saw the most. We didn't leave town,
When
so
did the pandemic technically start?
March 13th.
Oh, okay. Kyle wins.
You're like, oh, so close.
So close.
Yeah. How many films this year, Ken, did you see in the theater?
Since pandemic one.
How many did you see the whole year though? Because you saw some before
I
the
saw several this
Yeah.
year. Yeah. Probably like 5 or 7.
5 or 7? Really?
Yeah.
I know
mean,
you saw Bad Boys.
That's most people's average.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true.
Did we see Sonic in the theater? No, we didn't. We didn't because we hadn't taken the boys. What else did you see?
That's a real shame. Good time.
Yeah, I did see Sonic, but not in the theater.
Let's hash this out.
We
on
gotta
the
hash
air.
it out now.
Yeah, I was
and- 'cause
What were your family plans back in February? Tell me, guys.
I don't think you saw 5 or 7. I think your number's like 3.
You think it's 3?
Yeah,
Okay.
Heavens.
I think you saw.
the drama thickens.
I don't even think it's 3.
Oh my God, edit
think
this
it's
out,
2.
Kyle.
Do you want me to talk about Wonder Woman, Cody?
Anything
Yeah, we will.
else, please.
Okay, you figure it out, Ken. Kyle, what's up with Wonder Woman?
What's up with Wonder Woman? Apparently, everyone thinks this movie's trash when it's not that bad. I mean, it's definitely not on par with the first Wonder Woman movie because that one really came out of the gates like being a really great surprise for everyone, and it was really creative and well made, and it was nice to see a superhero like Wonder Woman finally get her moment. So there was just so much anticipation off of that movie for this next one to be great.
Right.
So I wouldn't call Wonder Woman 84 to be, the equivalent of Wonder Woman, but I still found entertainment out of it, mostly because of Gal Gadot and the return of Chris Pine's characters to just have such great chemistry, and Patty Jenkins as the director still brought her A game, and she still got, some pretty good action sequences. Not many that I loved as compared to the first movie, but still enough to where I was entertained for the most part. There's definitely like some obvious flaws. Like I think the plot of the movie kind of just gets a bit too muddled than it needs to, and the morals that the story was trying to tell kind of got lost in the weeds with the plot just being so muddled. But the villains were still cast pretty well, and despite them not being completely well written, they were still entertained just thanks to the actors that played them. So I think people kind of overreact a bit too much about calling this movie terrible. It's not. Like, there's way worse movies than this one, but I was still pretty entertained for the most part, even despite seeing some obvious flaws in the movie.
Was it so nice getting to go to the theater?
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
I was in like one of those reclining chairs and had like leather seats, and this I was shaking in the seat because of the sound, and it was so nice.
So nice.
People thought I was a crazy person because I was, making one too many noises, but it's
crazy.
Fine. People are like, take it easy, dude. But no, it was just good to be back in the theater as always, because now it feels like it's a gift instead of like my usual, weekly thing.
Like a treat.
Oh yeah. And that's what it should be anyway for most people. I'm one of the crazy ones that used to go every week, but for most people, it's supposed to be like a treat or a gift or, something to entertain themselves when they're busy throughout the week.
Right. Well, we're professionals and we do go see the movies in the theaters.
All three of them? Did we figure out that number?
Yeah, what is it?
No. I don't want to get into this again.
It's 4.
4.
Okay, well, 4. Sold. Done. I want to move on from this.
Moving on.
Mine is 1, everybody. 1. Tenet.
What are you arguing about that? You know what?
We
Never
have no
mind.
idea.
I'm just so jealous. Ken gets to do all the fun things.
All of the fun
Stay
things.
home with the children.
I do hope that Wonder Woman, I'm going to move away from this now. I do hope that Wonder Woman, like, we don't see like more people like staying at home to go only see it on HBO Max. I mean, hopefully safely they can go to a theater, and hopefully there is a theater nearby that's open. But I hope that we don't see like a really big drop off between, the word of mouth of people overreacting to quote unquote how bad this movie is and it being available on HBO Max.
I think you're going to see a big drop off. I think there's a number of reasons. One is it's just the time of the year. I mean, it's just the post holidays. You're going to see a drop off. Probably not this weekend because of New Year's being on a Friday, but you will probably definitely see it next weekend. I think there's also more closures. So from the holidays, you're getting more closures or extending of the closures, which if they could open up might keep or maintain the gross as where it was at. And then I just think that due to piracy and the streaming combined, because now there's perfect digital copies out there. That's the problem with day and date with streaming, is that there's perfect digital copies. Piracy skyrockets and it's a massive issue, and that's just going to eat into the bottom line. So they are going to lose.
And the first Friday
grosses.
after New Year's typically is where movies go to bomb.
Right.
Like there's a lot of history with that first Friday after the first where movies go to die.
Yeah, there's just nothing.
Yeah, January is just tough as it is. So we'll see how Wonder Woman can maintain, but I just think that it's got a lot working against it right now.
With the piracy angle, do you think this is going to be a learning lesson for the studios who are starting to do these day and date releases, and they're going to slowly do it to where it's kind of like Universal's release strategy of releasing, for the most part, 3 weeks exclusively to theaters and then go, I don't know, on their streaming service or on Amazon or something.
That it'll settle out to being a 3-week window. I think they make too much in that first 3 weeks, which is the bulk of what they gross nationally, to give it up because there is a piracy and streaming issue.
Yeah. And with Warner Brothers having Judas and the Black Messiah upcoming, that's a hard sell.
That is
a hard sell
right
in
now.
Theaters, but people do go to movies for reasons other than to be entertained, to be challenged, to be thoughtful. At home, you're usually not in that mode.
No.
You're trying to put something on to be entertained, to escape, the laundry for an
turn
hour
your
and a
brain
half.
off.
You're not like, I want to get right in the middle of conflict and emotional trauma.
Yeah, I really want to.
And again, I'm one of the crazy people that do, but the majority of those audiences are going to think that way.
Yeah, I feel like
I like British baking. That's my escape.
Yeah,
I feel like being challenged by, civil rights and conflict in the middle of my evening. It looks like a great movie.
And
it's
then
just
I'll go to bed.
Not one of these home run streaming titles.
Yeah.
No, so there'll be so we'll have to see what happens, but I definitely think there's going to be a decline, and you really don't know in the uncertainty about the closures being extended.
So if there's any pirates out there, yar.
So I guess talking about Warner Brothers, they did announce their whole 2021 slate was going to go day and date streaming. We do know that there will be some titles like Judas and the Black Messiah for sure coming up. Tom and Jerry will be like that. But one of the bigger ones they had at the end of the year, Dune, which moved back to the end of the year, that I don't think is going to end up being day and date streaming. We'll have to see. There's a big fight with Legendary, which is the producer on that, over the release strategy. Because when you release some day and date, the producers and actors and the creative talent do lose back-end compensation because they get that off the theatrical. And so there's not only that issue, but if you were going to shop it around and sell it, there's an open market value on it. And by just unilaterally going to day and date streaming, you are snubbing that market value. And so
you can't just make a blanket statement regarding a film's release when the film encompasses thousands of individual contracts.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, you can.
You can.
It just will backfire.
Yeah. It will backfire, and you'll get reprimanded behind the scenes.
I think Legendary will probably win this fight. I mean, just like everyone else, they were blindsided by this announcement. It was pretty much a blanket statement, like what Ken was saying. And between Dune and Godzilla vs. Kong, they supplied like 75% or 80% of the finances that went into developing these movies, and they want compensation from theatrical releases because that's what they signed their contracts for in the first place.
Or they want real open market value for the film. They want what somebody's willing to pay for it, not just giving it all up for
not in there to break even
for HBO Max accounts.
Yeah.
But I mean, hopefully Legendary wins. I think they actually can, because clearly there was contracts made, and Warner Bros. Probably can't back out of those contracts unless if they pay a ridiculous amount of money. But even still, I don't think they would want to do that.
But they could. I mean,
they could. I just don't think they would want to.
I don't think they would want to, but you could, and then get your release strategy the way you want it.
Yeah.
I'm worried for Dune. I think it looks fantastic. It looks the special effects look amazing, and all the characters are good, but it's just a heavy sci-fi film in a time when audiences, I think, have drifted away from that sci-fi fantasy genre. Like, I don't know if Lord of the Rings would be as exciting today or as big.
Well,
just given a different taste.
It created the universe. It started the idea that these could be successful.
Right.
Like Lord of the Rings, historically, those films, TV series, animations were not successful. And this is the first time it was. And maybe Dune is the one that kicks it off in this sci-fi fantasy route.
I'm not saying it's not a great property and that it wasn't super well done. Like, it looks fantastic. It's just looking at it, I'm just concerned that it may not translate to audiences.
It's hard to start a new franchise right now. And we saw that with Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
Where they're trying to start off in that same vein where it's sci-fi fantasy.
Yeah.
Right.
Monsters, trying to make something happen. And, Sony took a swing and it missed in a big way.
They're certainly going to...
I wouldn't say in a big way. It was but it definitely floundered a little bit.
Yeah. Well, a little bit more than they even thought for COVID standards.
Exactly.
Probably.
I really wish it would have done more business.
I hope it does $1 billion this weekend.
I just wish for something that had been exclusive theatrical to have been stronger.
Yeah.
I mean, Wonder Woman did like 3 times the amount of business that Monster Hunter did in the places it released it, but Wonder Woman was day and date, and Monster Hunter was exclusive. And you want to reward the studio for giving you exclusive content, but if that exclusive content doesn't work, I don't know what you...
There's
no
good
like
choice.
It's like they can use it against you, saying, well, we lost money because we didn't allow streaming. Well, no, you lost money because the film just really wasn't that great.
Yeah. No, it's winning a race and then ending up in second place at the finish line no matter how fast you run.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Hopefully they market this well to where it doesn't necessarily trick people, but it's enough that it looks exciting. Then people get excited, and then they end up getting what they want out of it. But I think Warner Bros. Is definitely going to try and make this a franchise. Like, if they lose this, even if they lose this fight to Legendary, they're going to make sure this is promoted well, because they want the franchises, they want more movies, more spin-off shows.
Yeah, Legendary wants that too.
Oh,
they
sure.
want to create in the world of Dune.
Oh, no matter what the movie is, if it does well, they're trying to figure out a way to make a sequel.
Oh yeah,
still trying to write Joker 2.
Don't remind me about that.
And they're not the only studio doing this. You know, MGM is looking at their IP and saying, what value do we have in this? And for those of you that don't know, the MGM has most of the Bond, James Bond film IP. So,
well, they also have Creed. I mean, not the first movie, but they have the rest of them.
Do they have anything
Only
else?
the second one.
The Rockies, they have a huge library of classics.
Of classics, but...
Right.
But nothing that's, nothing to write home about.
Yeah.
Nothing outstanding, but in a world where content is king, they have content.
They do. And they are exploring selling that content to a streaming service or a tech company right now, but they wanted billions of dollars. And I'm not sure James Bond is that billions of dollars.
I mean, Netflix said no to, what was it, the first initial deal that they were trying to strike up. I forget what the number is off the top of my head, but they only gave them like the one number, and MGM was like, no, we'll just wait. So unless if it's a big number that they're willing to pay for, it might just be not happening. But it also depends on what the content is too, I suppose.
You know what's interesting is over the pandemic, I got 0 requests for James Bonds, like maybe 1 or 2, but they were way out there. And then when Sean Connery passed away, we did play some James Bonds, and they didn't do any business. So
okay,
I don't know, looking back on that, and then granted that's only our little circuit and only during a crazy pandemic, but I'm not sure that there was the value in the old James Bond, as because it was laid bare that there wasn't that value.
Do you think people are only caring about...
It's so old. It's before our
dated.
time. It's very dated.
Yep.
Do they only care about what like the most recent Bond movie was, but they don't think about past ones then?
Yeah.
I mean, they only care about like what Spectre was because it was the last one, and then before Spectre came out, they cared about what Skyfall was.
It's just to the Daniel Craig universe right now. There's very little, if no, interest in any of the other James Bonds, including Pierce Brosnan, who was not that long ago.
No, he was like kind of the. I think James Bond I remember playing GoldenEye on N64.
I think the last Pierce Brosnan was like 05 or 06, like it's 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But we still talk about Sean Connery, but it's not something people are revisiting.
No.
And especially not in a theatrical model.
Not really.
I did watch the first did watch the first 2 Daniel Craig Bond movies because I only started at like Skyfall. So when I watched the first 2, I was pretty excited. I was like, I love Skyfall. I'm really excited for No Time to Die. Let's see how good these 2 movies are. And they were fine. Like,
right, they're just fine. Skyfall's really good.
Yeah, but I was like, why am I excited for No Time to Die now? Like, what? Unfortunately, I really do think it's a thing of people looking back on the most recent movie that had come out.
It doesn't help that you saw Skyfall first.
Yeah, for sure. That was like
Casino Royale was a huge leap forward for James Bond.
Yeah,
in that aspect, and then Quantum of Solace was a huge letdown because the bad guy was a pencil neck, and then Skyfall was so good.
Yes,
it's like a roller coaster with these.
It's so true. Like people think that's an exaggeration, but really it's like up down, like super fast.
No. I worry. This pandemic has kind of opened up the value to some of these classic titles because everybody always assumes that, just because I enjoyed it at one point in my life, other people will enjoy it. And what we're finding is that I think the availability of them is so prevalent everywhere that they're just so devalued now. There's just nothing there.
If you want it, you can get it on your phone in 30 seconds. So we are... Like we always say, we're selling the experience and we're selling the exclusivity of that window.
Yep.
right now.
I think it's still really important. So for MGM to try to sell their library, I'm not for, $4 or $5 billion or however much it was. It's just, I'm not sure.
Now I know we're not quite liquid
it's
enough
there.
for the 4 or 5 billion, but do you think the Lion is for sale?
The Lion?
Lion.
The Lion? What's that?
From the promos, from the beginning of the films.
Oh, the Lion.
The Lion.
The MGM Lion.
You think he's for sale? Think
Is
we
that
get
going to
a
be
discount?
Is that going to be Netflix's logo instead of the
Carol
Bum?
Baskin out there, so
I'm
I'm not going
I'm
there.
interested in having just a lion roar randomly during the podcast. I think it'd be great. We could write it off.
That money's hidden somewhere, right? There's treasure buried out back.
Yeah. So, well, we'll have to see next year. I'm getting really worried about this early part of 2021. Not to put a downer on the next part of the year because I am very excited for it.
Thanks, Cody.
But I'm just looking at repertory product and being like, I can't book anything of this anymore. It's just no one's coming. Like not even free shows are doing anything.
Yeah, I mean, they work for, events, like one night only events. Come relive this classic for one night only. But
If
at
you
the
have
same
nothing else to do.
And that was
Yeah.
previous to this.
Right.
We have no idea. Who knows if that's going to work.
But I'm looking at the next, quarter going, I might need something to fill screens because this other product's not going to last as long, having been also on streaming. And I don't know what to put in there because Harry Potters aren't available. And not that you would play them again because you've already played them all summer. Lord of the Rings aren't available. Matrix movies aren't available. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff out there, but it's like, what about it pulls people to the theater? And I really feel like there's not a lot of options for that.
Because I think people would rather go to the theater to see the new stuff. But
They just really want to see new stuff.
yeah, I mean, which is funny because we live in a day and age where, it's the reboots and the sequels that everybody wants to go to. But at the same time, they're also kind of an event to a degree. So without even those new / old things coming into play, it's like, why would I go to the theater to see this old title if it's not like a one night only event thing, if it's just going to be there day after day? And the pandemic also, on top of that, doesn't help things.
I know, I'm worried that as stuff starts falling off the screens, I won't have anything to replace it. And we may just have dark screens in this first part of this.
Hey, don't get so down. We've got Liam Neeson on
in the
15th.
Marksman. Yeah.
He's coming.
He's
January 15th.
Guys, he's taking over the Monster Hunter screen. So
He's coming for you.
I got one screen lined up.
Woo, there we go.
Yeah.
One screen done.
Liam Neeson is
Done
always,
and done.
Liam Neeson always is here to help. He never fails.
I need like 3 or 4 more Liam Neeson movies then.
I mean,
I'm sure they're out there. I'm sure they're already completed and they're on a shelf and they're just waiting to see when they could release them.
technically in the gray, he did fail. He did get eaten by wolves.
You don't
Okay,
know that
like-
for sure.
1 out of the 100.
Yeah.
Just don't show that one. Just show all 20 Taken movies. It's fine.
So yeah, I think going into 2021 we'll still have booking challenges for sure, and
Yep.
we won't have that repertory there to boost us, and we've exhausted that resource. So we're gonna have to really get really creative outside the box and think of other things to make sure that we have full screens going into that.
Limiting showtimes, private screenings, getting people excited about this idea because the film companies are behind it. They want
Right.
you to promote private screenings, and whatever that number is that you can sell your screen for that showing, do it. Get it sold. Sell some concessions
Yeah.
and take it off your plate so you can worry about your other scheduling.
But on a bright note, I am so excited for 2021. 2021 is going to be a new year and new opportunities and just new. It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited. So, first off, we have rearranged our office a little bit here. And that's going to be really fun because I got a new office and Ken got a new office and Kyle got a new office buddy.
So much for that new office I was hoping
Yeah.
for. One day, Kyle.
We got to evict somebody and then you can get your new office, Kyle.
All right.
So
I'll be
2021
waiting.
is going to see that, and that's very exciting. I'm going to be doing a lot of office painting in the next couple weeks.
Ooh.
Projects. I thought they were, just simple projects that Ken and I can handle. Nothing major construction like last year.
Ken is shaking his head.
Yep.
You can
So with that, because we rearranged the office space, we freed up a new podcast studio space. So
yes. Which you can clearly see. Oh, wait, no, you can't.
Not yet.
No,
we're getting there. So there's some painting and some setup stuff we still have to do in the podcast studio, but we're going to have a dedicated podcast studio now because this is so fun and we really needed it in the pandemic. And
yes.
it's a good tool. It's not only good for people to get an insight into this kind of back end niche part of our industry, but it's also good for us to, just talk about what's going on and figure things out. And we basically are just recording conversations we already have in the office.
Yeah. I
and
mean,
having beers beforehand or during.
We did have beers today, guys. Not before this, but for lunch.
But before this.
we've
But
waited the
before
right
this, a
amount of
little bit.
time to sober up.
We did. We sobered. I had a cup of coffee. We're all good.
You guys sobered up? Ruh-roh.
Okay, maybe 2 out of 3 of us sobered up. No, it's going to be really exciting for 2021. Hopefully soon we're going to launch our YouTube channel as well.
Yep.
There's going to be all of our previous episodes up, and hopefully soon we'll finally include video so that way you can actually see who's talking through these mics
Right.
that you're listening.
The brain trust.
The brain trust.
See us in action.
The trio of excellence.
See Ken in the corner doing his push-ups
He
or
does
sit-ups.
He
or whatever.
does them during the podcast, folks. He doesn't break a sweat.
So
Yes,
we're gonna be
totes.
We're going to be so excited about that. We're going to have on our YouTube page how-to videos and other just fun content on there. Kyle do more movie reviews when we get to go back to the theater.
Whenever that happens.
Yes. Yeah. So that's
Back to my weekly regimen.
yeah. So we'll make more announcements regarding the YouTube page
Yes.
coming soon, but we're super excited to utilize that tool.
Yeah. And we just want to thank everyone for, continuing to listen to this podcast, continuing to use our website. And we just really hope that with everything new that we're about to bring to 2021, this really helps theaters out there and hopefully for a fresh new start for this industry starting, tomorrow.
No, it's because
it's going to be
of
the new year.
really good listeners like you guys out there that we are able to grow this and do more things and get more involved. So
Yeah.
that's been really awesome. And speaking of our website, Kyle.
Oh, bow, 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 bow. Sorry, I'm having an off day with the air horn.
Come on.
I might actually be replaced by Cody. She might actually do it now.
I'm more enthusiastic about it right now.
How dare you?
I know. We just gotta, what we'll do is we'll record you and then I'll just hit the button.
And then hit the DJ because we'll have that DJ panel, right?
we do good.
We have
DJ
Apparently
Eric.
now we really got to get DJ Eric in here.
Or the lion.
Okay, or the
It's
lion.
definitely an option.
Can he just be one of the sound effects on the DJ panel?
No, I think we could put out like pedals and you
You
could
know
push
what?
them to make the noises.
Okay, that works. Pedals. So yeah, we're getting a new website, new look coming next week.
January 6th.
When we come back to the next podcast, we will have launched Silver Screen Insider revamped.
New year, new look, new website, new you.
New features.
And we're really excited about that too. Like we've been trying to get this for a while and like I was saying earlier, we're just hoping that
This was supposed to launch January 2020.
yes.
We were
Due to some setbacks.
some setbacks. We
Eric.
amongst other things, pandemic. We were expecting this earlier in this last year, 2020, but now we're getting it first part of 2021.
Yes, and again, it'll be fitting because we want a new year. We want to get rid of everything
Oh my
2020.
gosh.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
this is going to help out so many theaters in so many ways, and we'll have the tools to provide for that.
So, just an overview of some of the changes you're going to see. We are updating our pricing model. So, if you are a fan level subscriber, that will now be a charged account. So that will have a small cost, but you'll still continue to have access and kind of a stripped down version too. And if you're an insider and you're still struggling with the pandemic and you're like, I love the some of the things on Silver Screen Insider, like the database and the graphics, but I don't need everything else. The fan level access gives you some of those basic services without the extra costs. So the fan level is $15 a month now. And then we made some slight updates and new looks on the scoreboard. So that's going to be really, really exciting.
Scoreboard.
We're just mostly with that. We're just it will be easier visually to see which films are going to have a premium VOD release, because that is not going away now, and day and date streaming.
Yeah.
So you can, look and just visually see on there what the release pattern type is. We're also going to hopefully start tracking more locations and a per location average now, so you can see, how your location stacks up to the average in the nation. So
yeah, we're trying to be a lot more data driven now.
We actually used to have that on the scoreboard. We used to have the location average, and then we kind of abandoned it to clean up the scoreboard, and now I think it was a mistake, so we're bringing it back.
Hey, learn from your mistakes, and we know what to do now.
And then the biggest changes you're going to see are in the movie detail slip. So you go to the movie database, you select a movie, and the detail slip comes up, and we're going to have comp films. So with Wonder Woman 1984, the comp films I think we picked were the first Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Captain Marvel. And they'll have what the opening weekend gross was and the overall cumulative gross, so you can get an idea, hopefully during normal times and not a pandemic, what the weekend should be, or where the strength of the film
Pandemic
lies.
year counts, Cody.
I know
it's gonna be there.
It's always gonna be there.
You'll see it in our data too. It's not going away.
No. So, that's the one thing that is rough about having launched after this 2021 year, because your previous year comparative data is all nothing now. It's just this low line of nothingness.
It would have happened regardless.
Well, it's not just the previous year. There's going to be a lull for everything.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan movie.
I know.
You're going to see all these massive grosses, and then Tenet's going to be...
Are you going to not comp Tenet, when you on his next film?
Gal
You're just gonna we all
Gadot,
gonna
when
forget
her
about
next
it.
film comes up, what's that going to look like versus Wonder Woman versus the original Wonder Woman?
Right. And when you're making decisions like, should I put this in a PLF screen, or should I put this in 2 or 3 screens? The comp films really help give an idea of what the potential for an opening weekend is, and so it's gonna be, you're gonna always see 2020 lingering throughout the site, but that's okay. We're also going to start gathering critic scores, because pre-pandemic that was becoming really important. A bad Rotten Tomatoes score was actually starting to have an effect on opening weekend, and
God,
so
some people take it as gospel.
It's crazy in some markets that was becoming a real gauge of film success. Not across the board and not everywhere, but in certain markets, it was becoming really important. So we're going to start analyzing and gathering those just to have them handy, so when you have to go back and you're like, should I put this? Did it have a cinema score? Was it fresh from Rotten Tomatoes? You'll have quick access to that. We're also instituting a Monday newsletter. Right now, we only just have the one Thursday newsletter, but I think that first thing Monday to start your week, having the box office numbers and the critic scores and stuff right there for you will be a real treat, and just really help you start your week off right. So we're going to add that. What else? Lots of other little updates and changes, and a new pretty look.
Yeah. It looks awesome. It's much more user friendly.
Yep.
Front page is very good at signifying whether or not you were logged in, which is awesome.
That was one of the biggest criticisms that we had of the site, is that the site didn't change if you were not logged in. So if you weren't logged in, sometimes you only knew you realized you weren't logged in because you couldn't download a scoreboard, or you couldn't access certain things, and that was frustrating. So we'll be updating it, so there is a homepage and definitely a different look once you logged in, so you will definitely know. and on that, we're calling that the dashboard. So your logged in page will be your dashboard page, and on that you'll have your My Account. So you can now finally see your billing history and add, edit, and update your billing, see what the next invoice is going to be, and you can pay your invoice right there on the site. So you don't have to do a phone call or a credit card over the phone or send a check. You can just do it right there.
Yep,
So.
a lot easier to find than it was. It was pretty hidden.
It was so hidden.
We realize that now.
Very convoluted. So.
Yeah, hard to navigate through, but hopefully these new changes are going to be a lot easier for you guys to deal with payments, especially, with this COVID year. It's already so tough going and dealing with so much money issues.
You'll be able to, if like I said earlier, if you're struggling and you want to maintain the service but don't want to pay for all the extras, you can downgrade your service to a fan level and save some money, and then when things get better, upgrade it back up to Insider. Yep. So it gives you a lot of leeway and ability to control what you do. You can change your service from, if you pay once a year, you can go down to monthly too, and just keep it kind of going as you can afford it. So we just offer a lot more options for you.
More accessible, more accurate, more awesome.
More awesome. Yes. And, we're trying to take into account changes in the industry. I think it's been pretty serendipitous that we had been planning on making these changes, and then during the process, because it got postponed because of COVID, we realized now that our industry has completely changed. We've added things like release pattern type, and then we're going to start tracking when something is a wide release or or exclusive theatrical, if it has wide with a little bit of a window before VOD, if it's direct day and date streaming, or if it's stream only. Like Coming to America came out as a theatrical film, and now it's going to go only streaming. So, we're going to try to track all of that because it is confusing anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes that little bit of window may make the difference in whether you choose to book something or not, or how much you choose to promote it. Mm-hmm. So it's good. It's really important that you know what the release pattern is on that.
Yeah, it's already so hard from other websites to maintain not only the current release dates, but also no one really has a clue on how these movies are being released, whether it's streaming or just like a normal wide release. So we're really proud of ourselves in knowing like the release dates that we have are the most current, the most accurate, and we know on top of that what types of releases that they're going to be. It's going to be really beneficial for theaters, unlike the other guys on the internet.
Yeah, those mega databases that just mostly care about what actors in what movie and nothing else.
Yeah, not going to name any names.
No. It's an Amazon company now. We can't talk about it. So
Alexa, no.
Just deletes everything. So yeah, new year, new offices, new podcast studio, new YouTube page, new look, baby.
It's all coming together.
Excited.
We love it.
Yeah.
New year, new SSI.
So does SSI have any New Year's resolutions? Obviously, to get the site relaunched next week, so that'll be right there.
Yeah. SSI should probably check out Cinderfella, I would think.
I don't believe SSI needs to do that.
I believe Codi might need to do that.
Maybe.
That's my New Year's resolution, is that Codi watches it. Does that count?
No.
Tape her to her chair and hold her eyeballs open.
I think I'm going to be so busy with the new stuff going on.
Isn't that what you have me for?
Kyle and I are going to be so busy with all the new launching and the promotion. Who has time?
I don't even know if people remember why we're mentioning Cinderfella every week.
We quietly let that die.
Have we quietly let it die?
I think that was a 2020 thing and not a 2021 thing. Classic.
I wouldn't say that.
I vote. Let it live.
No. I don't want to be tortured anymore with old movies.
It's not torture. It's education.
I don't feel educated. I don't feel like I make any better booking decisions because I saw Cinderfella
I just
didn't.
feel mad.
I do. I'm frustrated.
This was supposed to be fun, guys.
Yeah. It was
I'm
fun
not having fun anymore.
It was kind of fun. I mean, it is nice to say, well, I've seen 20 of the top 100.
I'm going to take my projector and go home.
Cinderella isn't even on the AFI list.
I know.
It's not on any list.
We started getting away from that because that was just getting bad. And then I realized I just don't like old movies. It's terrible.
Oh, boy.
Old movies to me are like Indiana Jones.
The classics?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I mean, that's as old as
It's
I want to get.
on the list. It's one of the ones you saw.
I did see it.
Pretended
yeah.
you saw beforehand.
I've seen it. Stop it.
One day, folks. One day she'll watch it and we can move on with this Cody's classic corner game.
No. Oh my gosh. If I watch Cinderella, can we just drop the classic corner thing?
We shall see.
Nope.
That's pretty promising, more so than usual.
Nope. You had a moment, Ken.
Never!
All right. Do I have to get us out of here now?
Is there anything else we need to mention about the awesome new website? It is happening next week. When we do launch on the 6th, the website may be down for an hour or two as we go over to the new live version of the updated revamp. So I don't think it'll be an issue on midweek. So that we definitely didn't do a Monday or a Friday for that reason.
If for some reason you can't get in, check back a couple hours later and we should be up and rolling.
Yeah, all your login credentials should work. So we're not changing anything there. It'll be the same username, the same passwords. We're not updating anything like that. So you just will get a whole new look.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we covered it then.
So my login will still be Awesome Ken?
If that's what it was.
Okay, sweet.
That's what it was. Is that your nickname on the site?
The login is Awesome Ken. My nickname is Ken Awesome.
Ken Awesome.
Yeah.
Don't want to get confused.
Yeah. It's a little tricky.
All right, well, take it away, Kyle, for the last time in 2020.
Thank God. But really... But really, everyone, thank you for listening to the Off the Break podcast. You can find us on all podcast platforms and over at silverscreeninsider.com. January 6th, new website, new look. Podcast will still be there, though. Login credentials are still going to be the same. We're really excited for all this new stuff that we're going to bring, and we're going to make sure that we're going to keep this podcast going with some new features to it, too. So thank you very much, and let's make 2021 a lot better than this year.
Do your crunches, people. We're going to get ready.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Bye.